When we look at a human, when we say, why is this human being not moving forward? One of the things we've been able to articulate as human beings is that the mindset of a human being is one of the greatest driving force of why a human being can move forward or not. As mindsets are to how a human being functions, is what narratives are to how a nation functions. Most narratives were formed by either the leaders or citizens of a country. Narratives of developed countries came before they got developed. It is people that chose to think differently found a way to inspire a narrative shift, because people are automated to act according to their belief system. Now, in Nigeria, we have these several narratives that I have already articulated, like Nigerians cannot move forward, Nigeria is not working, you need to japa for you to survive, because Nigeria is not a place anyone should be. If you're in Nigeria, it means that you do not have a way to move out of Nigeria, or you come from a very rich family where you're living the soft life. We speak about the youths are the future of Nigeria, but the government has refused to empower the youths or give the youths breathing space for them to actually now take over leadership in Nigeria. We speak about nothing can ever work in Nigeria except we separate as a nation. If we do not separate, then Nigeria can never move forward. We are too divided to be a nation that can function into development. And then I ask a question, are we going to separate into the several ethnic groups that we are, or are we going to separate into 3 dominant groups? What is the plan about the separation? Because I don't know how that is going to work, because we are several ethnic groups together as well. I've spoken in previous episodes about why it is important for us to, rather than think about our differences, form a vision and run with that vision. And when I say form a vision, I know a lot of you said the government should form a vision. No, I mean every citizen of Nigeria should form a vision together, to come together and form the right vision. Now you will say, who would be the one to create the right vision? It can be from the citizens or the government. There are several nations that have proven that the citizens can drive change. And when I say drive change, I do not mean a revolution. Am I saying revolutions are bad? As a political scientist, I cannot say revolutions are bad. But I'm saying, now as we are in Nigeria, what is the best route forward? We need to change our narratives. That's the topic of today, because like I already said, what the mindset is to a human being is what the narrative is to a nation. We find America having the American dream did not come after the American dream came, before the American dream. We have nations like Singapore who were, who after their independence were seen as vulnerable. So they had the vulnerable narratives in the vulnerable narrative in the global society, but they switched that to exception or extinction, because they said, if we do not as a people develop our nation, then we're going to go extinct, because we are actually vulnerable right now as in regards to what the global society have defined us. We all know that Nigeria, among several other countries, have a global narrative running with it. Like either we're developing or we're underdeveloped, or there's so much poverty, or there's one thing or the other. We cannot take that noise in as who we are, because if we take it as who we are, then it becomes a predominant narrative as a vicious cycle. Just like the mindset is a vicious cycle, you want to make a change, but your mindset is still hindering you from making progress. I'm sure all of us understand that. Same thing with the narrative. If we do not take the required discipline to watch what we say about our country. And am I saying that we should not have active journalism speaking facts? No, that's not what I'm saying. That a narrative is a mirror, is a software, is an operational system of what we think is possible, how we interact with our challenges, and how we can prefer our solutions. If we believe that Nigeria can never move forward, Nigeria is too divided, we would not be able to make the required mental shift that gives us the capacity to be innovative individuals towards the problems that I already said in previous episodes can become real enterprises, real profitable enterprises, if we, shift this mindset, shift this narrative, demand from ourselves the required capacity to move our nation forward. We must reframe negative experiences. We must rewire our minds. We must transform the vicious cycle that is holding us bound by, we must shift from this negative narrative that we so hold on to. I'm so thankful that now a lot of people are very interested in made in Nigeria product. But this is literally a narrative shift. There was a time where if you buy anything Nigerian, it means you're poor. But thankfully, through enterprise and perhaps collaboration between the private and public sector, we've been able to a very large extent transform that narrative. It's still building in momentum, but it's been slightly transformed. You see, there was a time where if you're not wearing an English outfit, you're not prim and proper. You see that a lot of Nigerians are wearing Afrocentric outfits. That is a shift in narrative. That's how powerful narratives transform society, transform our thinking, transform our products, transform our capacity. Look at how many jobs have been created just by the narrative that Nigerian products are good enough. Look at how many businesses have sprung up. So we must reframe negative experiences, we must identify and challenge limiting beliefs, and we must craft a future narrative, because stories are very powerful. Stories are indeed very powerful.
Take for instance Dubai. Dubai's narrative is impossible is nothing. We see how they've been able to create a beautiful first-class nation, literally, from a desert land.
South Korea was actually poorer than a lot of nations that are regarded as poor right now. And they were able to transform their society in just 40 years through a change of narrative. Can go on and on. We have China. We all know what China was like. China was very underdeveloped. And you see how China was able to create the Chinese dream. And expected to start innovating, you're expected to start running an enterprise, you're expected to start literally developing yourself, right? And developing your nation. We can see India really moving forward through. They're focused on IT development, now trying to also build infrastructure, because they realize that to really transform a nation, you must also have infrastructural transformation. Now, what am I trying to say here? I'm saying that narratives are very important. We have international narratives, we have national narratives, and then we have individual narratives. But as a nation of intelligent people like you and I, we cannot afford to let ourselves be held back by narratives that do not truly define who we are. So we must find our agency rather than getting to a point of nothing can work, being dismissive, the challenges and the ills we see within our communities and societies and indeed our nation. We must find our personal agency. We must move from apathy to anger, the right kind of anger that says, you know what, I'm going to be part of the change agents in our society. We must move from fear to hope. We must move from isolation to solidarity. And very importantly, we must move from self-doubt to you can make a difference. Whenever you wish to use narratives that are anti-development and anti-progress, realize that you're feeding the vicious cycle. Because except Nigerians can believe in themselves again, except Nigerians can believe in themselves, except our youths can believe in themselves, except our leaders can believe in themselves, because I kid you not, from my standpoint, anyone that believes that development is possible would act differently.